All right. Ready? No. All right. And action. Oh, fuck. I always get this camera thing mixed up. All right. Camera's that way. What's going on, everybody? The Almost in Full Color crew has formed again like Voltron. We got Terry, the Keyblade Master, on the far end of me for our first-time viewers. We got the world's leading truck simulator driver, Roger, with us today. The Speed Demon, Gaines, right next to me. And I am your Super Smash Brothers King. Welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This one is number 5. What?
I was already, felt quite robbed. You was stealing my thing from last time.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What are you doing? The Keyblade talk.
Terry, we're not passing the Keyblade, bro. Keyblade's damn near long as me and Roger.
For those who are first-time listeners and all that, this will be the probably more serious one. We normally make fun of things, but this is kind of more of a serious tone. Sorry about that. We'll try to make jokes whenever we can. But because it's going to be so serious, I figured we start with something light to begin. So my first light question is, what is the best startup sound of all time? Best startup sound. We got the Windows 95 startup.
I was waiting for Gaines to pull a car out.
I was literally about to watch you jump.
I got scared.
It's like, bro, no Gaines, not here. It's people. Oh, not even think I beat you or something. I was thinking of car. Literally, when you said that, I was thinking what year Corvette am I going to say to be funny?
You got the Sega startup, the Super Mario World startup, OG PS1.
I always like the Dreamcast one. Dreamcast. No, matter of fact, you know what's better than Dreamcast? The GameCube.
The GameCube startup.
That's why it makes out the little symbol. I always like that one.
The PS2. It was so suspenseful.
Yeah.
You never knew if the disc was going to work, and now you're just watching those things. You're like,
so that's
come on.
Yeah, I don't have one. I don't got one.
Well, I think I like the Sega one a lot. The Sega one, I don't know what it was about it. It was loud and abrupt and...
Well, Sega.
Yeah, very loud, very abrupt. But, well, that's all we got for that. Now we get into serious things.
Oh, it's over?
That's probably the quickest topic ever.
So, we're going to start off with, this is old news, this happened a long time ago, but the conversation is still pertinent today. So, 2-3 months ago, Apex held their event called Iron Crown. This event had a lot of cosmetics with it, and people were excited, but then they realized how much grinding it took to get it. It was about 10 hours for one of the top tier cosmetics. So, top tier cosmetic was about 10 hours. However, the next one that you got after the next 10 hours, you may get the same one you just got. It kind of wasn't written in a way to where, you wouldn't get that one. Exactly. Yeah. So it kind of forced you into a place where you would have to pay. People found out it would cost about over $160 to ultimately get everything. They were upset.
If you paid, you also got dupes as well?
It was very possible that you would get dupes as
well.
So
very loot box then. Pretty much loot box. Yeah.
So people were pissed. And they expressed that. Now, a person from the dev team came out and said, hey, we did some testing. We saw that, this would be the way to go. Now that you all have told us this is not the way, we'll try to figure out a fix. So, after that, people then began to call them liars and a bunch of other real nasty stuff. Just real nasty. So, one of the devs comes out and says, hey, basically a lot of people who play this game don't buy anything, so you guys are a bunch of freeloaders and asshats. And another dev comes out and pretty much says, oh, okay, so everybody just gets to sit here and call us names and all this on this Reddit post.
Yeah, that's Reddit.
Well,
that's how Reddit works.
Well, yeah, so after that, people then become upset that the dev came out and called them freeloaders and asshats. And said, hey, that's not professional. The customer is always right. are people being a little too, I don't know, much? Like, just for lack of a better term, is, you know.
Well, that's the internet. Yeah,
I was say that's Reddit in a nutshell.
Yeah, if you're gonna bring that to Reddit, then I mean, obviously you have to expect those type of responses. The internet's
no matter what you do, you're gonna get negative. Like,
you can save the world if someone's gonna say something negative to you.
Yeah.
You know, that's how the internet works. Some people just do it just to do it, just because they get it. You know, it might be funny to them just to fuck with you. I guess, for lack of a better word,
just be like B and report everybody. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
So do you think the dev was wrong in coming out and calling people freeloaders and asshats?
Yeah, from a
From
sales perspective. Like, I mean, no matter what company you're a part of, no matter what product you're selling, you don't ever want to try to turn your base against you. I mean, and that's pretty much what you're doing with that. Granted, I'm sure he probably had all the rights in the world to be able to be mad, because I'm sure they probably called him terrible things.
Oh, of course.
Or all of them terrible things, but I guess when you're in retail, you kind of got to learn to bite your tongue, because it's going to be worse for you if you do break and say something.
I would say silence would have been better, because even if you worded it nicer of just saying, like, well, everything's free, so we were trying to get this, I don't think that would have even went well.
Yeah, sometimes, I guess, like you said, it's better just not to engage it. Maybe kind of try to take their criticism as, you know, something you could build upon, and kind of filter out the unnecessariness that I'm sure was there. But I mean, other than that, you really don't want to start to prod that bear, because it's just gonna get worse.
Oh yeah, they definitely tore him apart. I mean, I think devs get like the worst of it too, because everybody has that "I want it now" mentality, and that makes it worse. But
well, doing loot box style is
definitely that whole system just needs to go, and they just need to do something different. What that is, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much seem like they adopted the cell phone free to play aspect, to where it's completely free to play, but you get 5 energy today. And after you use 5 energy, it takes 24 hours to get more energy to do stuff.
The gacha games, or whatever they're called. I think that's how they call it.
I forgot what they call it.
I don't know what they call it, but that's kind of the style. It's like, it's completely free to play, and you could get everything I have without paying anything. But it's just going to take you your life.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon Masters. Like when Pokemon Masters released, everybody was like, "Oh, snap! This is actually a really good game." And then everybody started to realize, if you want to get like the good 5-star characters, $20 for like 3,000 coins.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it, or whatever the amount is. I don't know the currency for it, but I don't know. Loot boxes just need to go. That's all I have to say.
So another dev jumped out there, different from the first one who called people freeloaders and asshats. He jumps out and says, "So it's fine for you all to call us liars, full of shit, and other personal attacks when we communicate an apology, an update for the event, but we're immature when we call people out on it. Got it." Now, there were some people who, like you said, it's on Reddit, they jumped out real crazy, threatened families and stuff like that. Stuff that shouldn't really be done, but, you know, they really jumped out there. Another person who, I guess, played the game at one point ends up responding to that developer and says, "You committed the ultimate cardinal sin. You got personal. You as a team of professionals trying to make money got personal. You got personal and decided to insult your player base, calling us asshats and freeloaders. Not a wise move." Before I continue this, I kind of feel like this dude... well, never mind. I'll continue it, and then I'll get to the end. He goes on to say, "We won't forget this. You set a new tone for the kind of interaction we'll be having with you. It's a cold one. One where there aren't any illusions about the reality of the situation. Previous notions of family are dead. We are the consumers to you, and that is obvious." That's how he pretty much ends his statement to them. It was well written.
I feel like that's a family. That's a family relationship. No one says worse stuff to you than your family. Like, I don't care.
I'm waiting for Apex to come out with that commercial.
I'm serious. Like, you will hear some of the worst stuff from people who's closest to you.
Your drunk uncle? That's us.
Because when you piss them off, they know the most about you.
Regardless of whatever happened, they're still top 10 in the gaming market right now.
It's free.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to voice their displeasure. But if it's a good game or just a game that people really enjoy, it doesn't have to be a good game. It could be a game people just like to play. And I mean, they're still going to play it. They're going to bark and be mad, but probably all those people that said all that stuff probably logged on the same day.
Probably.
So
the guy
they have those numbers. They know the player base isn't dropping off, so you can scream all you want, but when they see the numbers, oh, we're actually 10% up or 5% up, or we're still even after this whole, I guess, scandal. They're like, it meant nothing because nothing changed revenue-wise, so nothing's going to change, like, project-wise.
So I feel like at the beginning of his statement where he says, you got personal, I kind of feel like at that point, that first paragraph was a little skewed because now you kind of are acknowledging that people were very, very hateful and spiteful, but you've said nothing to them and you just kind of directed all of your, hey, like, you guys messed up by getting personal, but you saw the, like, you know, oh, your family should die or go jump off a cliff.
You know how many
type
times
stuff.
a dev probably hears that a day?
Yeah, well,
They
I mean,
probably hear that constantly.
You got to think it's because that the devs are seen almost as, I wouldn't say like a managerial aspect, but they're above the consumer, even in the consumer's eyes. So it's like no matter how much the consumer acts out, you don't expect that from them. Just like no matter how much a child acts out, you wouldn't expect a parent to come in there and act the same way. Or like if a student was cussing out a teacher, if the teacher came back and cussed out that student in return, you'd be like, oh my God, like what are you doing? You're a teacher. Yeah, he's being a jackass, but he's just a student. You know, that's kind of how it is with devs. Like, it's like, yeah, the consumer can be mad, say whatever, but don't you say that because you're supposed to be, I guess, held to a higher standard for whatever reason, but yeah, it's just the way it works.
I mean, it still sucks though. I mean, I feel like devs should be able to speak out and say whatever, but in this instance, I mean,
you can. Freedom of speech isn't free.
I mean,
you're free to say whatever you want, but you have to take the repercussions.
Yeah, I'm gonna say both sides aren't right in this instance. I mean, one, consumers are constantly always doing the, hey, you're not doing what I like in this game. Your family should die. Like that's really bad.
Yeah.
And the way the dev responded back, I mean, that probably just put him over the edge. He probably gets like 20 of those a day. And that was probably like the 21st one. He's just like, I'm done. I'm saying something back. Yeah. But.
So do you all feel that devs should get off social media? We've seen many others. Luke Smith said he came into the office at one day, works at Bungie, for those who don't know. But he came into the office and people said, whoa, don't get on the Reddit subpage today. You do not want to be there. He's like, what's wrong? And people were like, nah. Janet from marketing is crying right now. Like, you just don't be on there. He's like, wait, what? So it's like some people, and even Call of Duty, after they asked for player feedback, they were like, hey, look, be chill. We're asking, but be chill. Like, we don't just give us constructive criticism and then we can keep it moving. But I mean, we don't need all the extra.
I mean, that's how it's looked at. You're just part of the company. You can't talk to customers bad in general. Like,
so I mean, should they? I mean, do you think that social media or given some of these kind of outbursts that have happened here and there, they should just get off of it? I mean, or do you think it's good, like the good outweighs the bad in this situation?
I think most devs now, even whenever they speak out, they always have what's that thing they have in their bio that says that anything I say doesn't represent my company.
But it does represent your company.
But that case, but it's just like, I don't think devs should get off social media. I mean, that's their one way of being able to see everything that's happening. Of course, every dev company has their own forum page on their website and whatever else. But I mean, like, they kind of know how bad or good their game is doing when they get on Twitter, Reddit, whatever forum pages they don't regularly visit on their own website. That's constructive criticism in some way, but it's their way to speak out to everybody. That's why community managers are always online. They take care of all the rest of it, even though.
Shout out to Meps.
Even though, he was probably the worst person that got it. It was like, yo, fix the game, do this.
For
DC Universe. So if you ever
wholesome interaction right there. They blame Meps for everything. I don't think he coded shit for DC.
But yeah, so Meps is from DC Universe Online. He's the community manager, right? At least I think he might still be. I'm not sure.
I haven't watched the DC thing in I don't know how long.
Yeah, no, I know they lost some people, but So essentially, anytime there is an update or something, Meps comes on to Twitch or to whatever live streaming platform they have, and he'll be like, "So this is kind of our preview of the game. You know, this is what's about to come in the game," because he's the voice for all the devs. Because most of the time, devs can't come on there because they're working 70-hour weeks or whatever, and there's no point to have them on a live stream. So every time it would happen, everybody would be like, "Yo, fix this, Meps, fix this," and telling him to do it, but doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
he just brings back whatever everybody else is saying, and it's like, "Yo, I heard this. What do you think?" And that's about it. Yeah. Like there's nothing he can do. He goes through like a hierarchy of people before he even is authorized to do anything. So
yeah, I mean, they definitely should keep it open. Cause like you said, brings criticism for the game, but it also allows you to build content that you know your player base wants. You just gotta learn how to see and then move forward past the stuff that you realize is not going to be constructive criticism. Like someone's literally just attacking you. You just have to be able to just get past it and be like, look, whatever. Like, I don't even know this person, so this shouldn't even matter to me. Like, granted, it's easier said than done when you probably, like you said, get thousands of them a day or something. But I mean, it's just, I guess the ends justify the means.
Guess we'll move on to our next topic. Now, this is also old, but like I said, the conversation is still pertinent. So, 2 months ago, or no?
Probably
a month ago. Yeah, less than a month ago. There was a Hearthstone tournament. Hearthstone's a popular card game. And this tournament hosted a bunch of professional players. These players signed an NDA saying that they would not use that platform to promote any religious, racial, political, any creed of any sort of kind. They were there for the game. That was it. The winner of this tournament would then go on to express his support for the protesters in Hong Kong. This, of course, would have a massive backlash. Blizzard ended up taking his winnings from that tournament and banned him for a year. People got ultra pissed and said that, they did it because China told them to do it. Now, at the time, they didn't know that there was an NDA signed. They just thought this dude won the tournament, went off supporting Hong Kong, and then they banned him. So no one knew actually that this was signed. In fact, Blizzard never ended up saying that was that. They to this day, they still haven't said he signed his contract. Someone leaked it out from the company. But ultimately, with knowing that, do you fault... Just to retcon that for a quick second, they changed the ban about a week later from a year to 6 months and gave him his winnings back because he didn't cheat during play. So, yeah, he didn't cheat during play. He just did something at the end that he signed a contract saying he wouldn't do. But knowing all that, do you, I guess, feel a way about Blizzard for banning the original suspension?
I'll let Roger take this.
Why me?
I'll take it. That's fine.
I'm not asking. This question is not about how you feel about Hong Kong. This question is about companies. How do you feel about a company doing this?
Yeah, I mean, if he signed an NDA saying you're not going to do that, you can't turn around and do it and then expect they're not going to punish you. You know you're not supposed to do that stuff unless he just signed it and didn't read it. If that's the case, then he's retarded. Because it's like, why would you do that? You have to read what you sign, so you can't get up there and do explicitly what the NDA tells you not to do. Like, he shouldn't have got his winnings, or maybe just be fine if they were like, okay, you'll get half, we're taking half because you broke our prearranged agreement before this. So, and they wanted to ban him. Whatever they wanted to do to him, they could have been able to do. Especially if it was outlined in the contract, like saying, if you do break this NDA, these are the repercussions of it. So, I mean, I don't have any problem with it. Now, maybe if you wanted to say that NDA didn't exist and he just got up there and spoke for Hong Kong and then they were like, like, hey, we're about to ban you. I mean, still, even then, it's not really his platform because you're playing on behalf of them. So whatever you say really falls back on them as a company. So maybe from a human, I guess I'm trying to find a word to say here. But I guess like an ethical,
A rep or
like an ethical approach would be like, oh, but he's doing a good thing. It's like, yeah, but you're going to kill our bottom line, and that's not really what we're here to do.
Mhm.
And you kind of just threw that wide open on us without us knowing anything. Now we have to take all the repercussions of it.
Mhm.
You take none of them. You like this great guy who said this. Now our company's suffering all of our, contracts that we have with all these other places. So.
Do you guys have any?
Oh, it's along the same lines. It's hard to argue when you sign something. In general, saying you won't do it, and granted, if you didn't read it, it's the same thing. It's. I was trying to think, but I didn't have nothing else.
Yeah, no. I mean, it seems like that's a big thing that's been happening recently. Is a lot of esports players are having these issues where they're not reading their contract. So, I mean, if it was the case,
that's why you need an agent.
Yeah, I would say agent, lawyer, whatever the case is when you go to sign it. But I mean, if he signed it, he read it, he did all that, and he still kind of spoke out about it. I mean, I kind of get what he's doing. I mean, he's supporting what he wants to support. Taking his winnings away, that was probably a bad move. And the ban,
There says don't punish him. He signed it. He did exactly what he told you he's not going to do.
I'm talking about like the year thing. Like the year ban probably made sense, but taking away his winnings, they should have just took like, yo, you disobeyed the agreement. Here's like a percentage. We're taking a percentage away. But instead of like all his winnings across however long he's been playing, that's probably, it depends on when he signed the NDA too. I don't know if they've said anything. Or
I don't know how NDAs work, and I don't know if you make someone sign an NDA, if you can disclose that you got them to sign it. I don't know.
You can say like, yo, I can't talk about this because I signed an NDA.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know if Blizzard themselves are allowed to disclose that because they haven't said anything about it.
Yeah, they could have said like we punished him because he broke the NDA.
I thought that was really weird that they never spoke on it. It was just, hey, he didn't break, or when they went back and retconned it and said, we gave him his winnings back, we changed it to 6 months. He didn't cheat during play, so, we changed it, but never ended up saying, I feel like that was a time to be like, hey, we came to an agreement and this is what it was, this is why we did it. But they haven't, really come out, and I was like, that's really, really weird, which makes it look even worse to me because it's like, why don't you say it?
Maybe a lot of times, behind the scenes, those companies will almost poll I guess, everyone's the crowd's thoughts on it. And maybe they polled it to be like, hey, what if we said this? And it was like, okay, it really doesn't do anything. People are still mad because everyone's saying support Hong Kong, and you punish them. Sometimes you can't get past even if it's something that's not true. So he said that China told you not to do that, and now that's all people want to believe. So it's like no matter what you say, it's too hot button of a topic for you to get an actual fact out. Be like, no, he broke this. This is what happened. We'd have done this. Even if he didn't say that, if he'd have got up there and said Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, we would have done the same thing because he promoted religion. So it's not just because it was Hong Kong, it's because he broke our agreement. That's why he got punished.
Yeah, I was saying, if they came out and said that, then I'm sure probably some people will be like, it makes sense, but then you'll still have some that'll be like, why is that in your NDA?
Yeah, just like if he would have said Jesus Christ my Lord and Savior, you would have had diehard Christians be like, look at them, they're prosecuting Christianity. Liberal left, they hate Christians.
That's your Christian voice?
Yeah. They usually real angry. When they get angry, they be real angry.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. If he did sign it, then yes, a ban, or maybe a suspension for X amount of months. I don't know, ban sounds weird to say instead of suspension because he's not banned from the game. He's just suspended for 6 months.
Yeah.
So his suspension, cool, keep that. But as far as the money, nah, they shouldn't have took it. Not all of it right there, and they should have been we suspended him for X amount of time while we continue the investigation or something, and then kind of come up with we fined him $10,000. That probably would have eased it a little bit instead of them we took everything from him and he's suspended for the rest of the year that. At that point, that's probably what created the whole outcry. It's shouldn't have done that. Should have just been here's a suspension first, and later down the road, here's a fine because you violated this.
Yeah, but you also don't want to make it too lenient. Because then you encourage others to do it who can say, oh, I can take that hit.
Well, that's why the whole...
say he made $200,000 for that tournament, and you find them 30. Might be somebody else say, you know what, you can take 30 of it, because if I say it, I'm going to get.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to look like the good guy. You're going to look like the bad guy, and it's actually going to help me publicity wise. So it's like you kind of want to nip it in there before other people try to chain on. Like, okay, well, you want to give up everything? Say it. Go right ahead. And then most people won't.
Yeah, it's just one of those tough ones. I mean, dude's allowed to speak out however he wants, but if he signed something that said you can't speak out in X, Y, and
That's
Z
why I
manner,
said freedom of speech isn't free.
Yeah.
You're free to say whatever you want. They can't put you in jail. That's what the First Amendment means, actually. Doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. It means you can say whatever you want besides threatening people, and the government can't prosecute you. But whatever you say, you have to take the backlash for that.
Yeah, well, it happened for Blizzard and them. This hasn't been a good year for Blizzard. Now I think about it, Activision Blizzard. Not a good year.
So let's like travel down the path of, let's say they did do it for China, right?
Nope.
Do you think that people should be more knowledgeable about what goes into gaming and what investors and how all that works, the dynamics of all that? Do you think people should be more knowledgeable about that before? Because if you have dudes funneling money into your organization and then someone on your platform comes out and is saying, you know, hey, fuck those guys, and you're like, they just gave me a bill. Yeah. Sorry, dudes. Like, are you cool with this? And they might be like, no, we're not cool. So do something about it. Like, do you feel like people should be more knowledgeable about just the inner workings? Maybe they still have the same disposition, but just more knowledge about how that pressure that comes with that dollar amount. Because these Chinese people are not just giving $500.
Yeah,
they're giving quite the substantial amount. It's nothing to sneeze at.
I mean, we've seen and I guess this just kind of goes back to the esports thing. I mean, we've seen like esports is just booming at this point. A lot of investors are trying to get in. I think just if they can just kind of speak on a small part, nobody's gonna actually tell us what's happening. You're gonna have to figure out some kind of way to get in. Because I mean, this is just like it's supposed to be $4 billion in 2 years. Some arbitrary. It's some arbitrary number that's like ridiculous because of all the contracts people are getting, all the people starting to try to get into it, make an esports team because apparently that everybody thinks is easy. But as far as the knowledge part goes, I mean, I think everybody should become knowledgeable about it. I mean, it could be worth something.
Should be knowledgeable. You'll never get that. Like, it's impossible. And a lot of people won't even talk about their investors a lot of times.
Yeah.
They just,
A lot of times investors don't want
to be talked about. Yeah.
So I don't think you would ever get knowledge of it just in general.
Yeah. I mean, unless they're like, yo, if I'm going to put my name, if I'm going to give you money, I kind of want to put my name somewhere on there. I guess like the 100 Thieves, they're an esports team. I guess like how they have Drake, they have Scooter Braun now. Some other A-list investor I can't think of. Like, there's a lot of people trying to get in on this. Because who's the guy? I can't think of his name. He's a rapper. He just signed up for the Call of Duty League for the team. No. I said a rapper.
I was
a legitimate rapper. I can't think of his name. He's from Atlanta.
Come on now.
He's from Atlanta.
Soldier console?
I don't remember.
Soldier box or something?
I can't think of it. He signed with he's an investor for FaZe now. And ever since he became an investor, his face has been everywhere about everything that FaZe has done. Their Call of Duty League, his music is behind it. Every time they make a video about FaZe, he's somewhere in the video.
So he's Puff Daddy.
No, yeah, I guess so.
He got your manager all dancing in your videos.
But everybody should become knowledgeable about it, especially how fast it's growing. I think they should put something out, but of course, like you said, some people don't want to know. Some people just don't want their name out there. They're just like, I'll give you some money, but just I'm good. You don't have to tell anybody I'm part of this. Just give me money back about however much I invested, whatever the case is, or whatever percentage of the company, and I'll be cool.
Yeah, it gives you that protection through anonymity. So if anything, say that company did do something that was deemed very unfavorable in the public eye, if no one knows you're an investor, you can still reap the benefits behind the scenes without people putting that public pressure on you to pull out your investment. Because it could still be a very lucrative investment for you, when no one knows you're investing, you could be like, "God damn, they're really going through a rough patch in the public eye," but I'm still up 5,000%. God, well, I'm pulling in this money, and I don't have to. I can walk around smiling. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Until that disgruntled employee comes out and be like, "Yo, he's an investor."
Oh, then they're gonna sue your ass off.
Yeah. But
That's usually what happens when you break NDAs. That's why you don't never see people break them.
But I think everybody should just become. I think they should put something out like if they want to, or if you invest a certain amount of money, that person should be disclosed out to who this investor is, and that's
what happens with a lot of them. They end up putting up so much money, and people kind of do a paper trail to figure out, oh, okay, this person or this company. That's how Tencent is behind a lot of stuff, and no one even knew that they were behind PUBG and Fortnite until that lawsuit came out. They're like, yeah, Tencent owns both of them, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
and then they squashed that immediately. And they're like, yeah, we can't have both y'all suing each other, so knock it off, play nice. And you haven't heard about that lawsuit since.
No.
But a lot of times, it's until that certain dollar amount is hit that people begin to kind of. I don't know who does this stuff, but somebody. They go out there and look at paper trails and like, oh, hey, it's these people behind this. And
it's probably an auditor or something.
Yeah, I have no idea where this information comes from, but some people go and they find it.
Some random guy sitting in the next cubicle over. Who knows?
But we'll round this out with the last most ridiculous thing I think I've ever read in my life. Someone spent $150,000 on the Transformers mobile game in microtransactions. How this happened, 150, I don't know.
That's about as bad as that promo card that went for $192. Our Pokemon promo card went for $192,000.
What was the promo card?
This is a Pikachu from like '98 or something like that.
Yeah.
But at what point? Because obviously everyone said, "Oh, those devs, they're so greedy. They let this guy spend $150,000 on this." At what point do gamers have to blame each other, or people have to blame each other and just say, "Nah,
gamers are
that's lack of that's something. I don't know what it is. Maybe your kid got a hold of your phone. I don't know. I mean, they didn't say it was a kid, but at what point do you stop?" And just say like, yo, dude, like you gotta chill. We're trying to get them to chill out these loot boxes and microtransactions, and you messing the game all up because you by yourself just putting $150K.
So
like,
we as gamers have something in our clauses, right? We don't blame other gamers. We blame devs. It's never gonna happen. We can. It's like us telling JJ to stop buying cash on freaking Fortnite and racing rivals.
JJ.
I mean, that's the easiest person I can think of. We can tell him as much as we want, but he's not going to do it because he finds enjoyment out of the game. Same as probably the person that spent $150,000. Granted, I mean, if he wants to come by the channel and drop us some money, we can put, I don't know, donation page for us somewhere. Just saying. But I mean, like, he probably got enjoyment out of doing it. I mean, he probably loved the game to a point where he's just like, shoot, yeah, I'll continually give these devs money.
I mean, if he spent $150,000, he probably isn't hurting for money, I would assume.
That probably.
So, I mean, it's on you to spend that type of money. Like, no matter what kind of game it is, no matter how they, quote unquote, force you to spend money, no one can force you to spend money to play a game. No matter, even if it was press start, you have to pay $5 to get to the title screen. Like, they're still not forcing you to pay money.
Don't give anybody ideas.
Hey, I'm just saying.
EA is listening.
I mean, I never looked at it like people are forced to pay money. I've never felt forced. I may feel like, okay, there's a lot behind a paywall, so now I'm not going to play. That's what I'll do, but I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't enjoy this game unless I pay money. So now I'm going to pay money to enjoy it. I just never put those two together. I'm not going to have it do those things to myself in order to maybe start enjoying your game. Because you could buy all that stuff and still not like it.
True. Yeah, you can be like, I'm trying to get this one specific item. If I pay maybe $20, I have a chance to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he probably got enjoyment out of the game to the point where he's just like, I don't mind giving them money. I mean, this allows them to continue with development or whatever the heck they say for the reason they're doing it. It sucks for the rest of us that say like, yo, this game's trash. Stop doing it. But then you have that cash cow out there just continually putting money back into it. It's just like.
I'll say you don't know the Transformer game is trash.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It could be the best game that's ever been played. Who knows? But to that guy, that's what it is. To us,
I wonder what he got for
this game.
I have no idea. I hope it was the craziest Optimus Prime.
I assumed
you
it was
could possibly.
fake when I read it. I just assumed the article or whatever was fake and just moved on.
Yeah, I don't know what he could have got for 150 grand. Obviously it wasn't one thing, but it's like, was it that many different
Unless it was
things to purchase, or was it just all loot box style?
Maybe it's like you were saying, you only get so much fucking energon every day, and
could be. He just wanting to keep playing.
You buy and you get the maximum you can get. Maybe it's like 200. I don't know what it could be, but mobile games are crazy like that.
Yeah.
I think I read an article. It's like last year or something. The dude was saying he played FIFA for like 3 or 4 years. And he said he averaged it out, and he roughly was putting like $20K a year into Ultimate Team.
Well, yeah, that's all loot box based.
And he was saying, "Oh, they should have stopped me." And I was like, "Wait, what?
Yeah, they're not gonna
you should have stopped you." He would go on to say in the article that him and his wife aren't hurting. They both have 6-figure jobs, and 20K isn't nothing to them. He ends up saying in the article, he's like, "But they should have stopped me." It's like, no, you should have stopped yourself. But if you got it like that, then I also don't know what the big
that he was
is.
Promoting his paycheck on
He was. He wrote like this long article about how he spent it and how he felt that the dev should have red flagged him as like a repeat spender and stuff like this. And I was like,
a casino?
What?
I was about to say that was gonna be my comparison. Is like it's like a gambling addiction. It's the same thing. It's just that's why the casino has all them pamphlets at the exit.
And it has the if you have a problem with gambling, call this number, but it's always in the smallest of print at the very, very bottom. Cause
I mean, it's that same trigger that does that for people paying money on games. I mean, Ultimate Team, it's almost a slot machine at that point, waiting for your cards.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones I can see spend a lot of money because you can literally spend thousands and thousands of dollars and never get the one card that you're after. Because I don't believe your chances increase at all depending on what cards you've already gotten. So it's literally like playing roulette.
Like card pack.
It's like, so if that card is a 0.0002% chance of being pulled, just because you pull 1,000,000 don't mean you're any closer to it. Because every individual pull is still just 0.0002 or whatever. So,
like I said, dude probably enjoyed the heck out of that game.
I would hope so. At that price point, I would really hope so.
No idea what that game is.
Transformers.
Me as a company, I'm gonna tell my consumers stop spending money on my game.
You will fail as a company.
Don't worry, guys.
No one will invest in you with that motto.
My development costs $100,000 a week, but you don't have to spend money on my game. No, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna tell my consumers stop spending money on my game. It's dumb. I'm shooting myself in the leg.
That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that. Usually it's flipped.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're crippling yourself.
All right. I guess.
Shoot yourself in the leg, crippling yourself.
Just never heard someone shooting yourself in the leg.
I don't know. I've heard it before. Yeah.
But as you've just heard us, people, telling the devs to stop isn't going to stop. You need to hold each other accountable. Yeah. Get some petition or something.
Oh, God.
Get some petition to sign up and do something. But blaming the devs is not going to get you anywhere, honestly. There's too much money they're laughing with right now for them to hear you. They can't. It's impossible. One person gave them $150,000. Just go home and think about that.
Or sit at your home and think about that because you're probably at home.
Or if you're driving, I mean...
and watching
stay safe.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Listen.
Get the hell off the road while I'm on the road, you crazy bastards. Shit, I'm trying to make it home. Y'all out here watching YouTube on the road.
Thanks for supporting us.
I mean, like I said, if that guy that spent $150,000, if he wants to come to the channel, somebody can figure out his name. We'll have a donation page.
I don't want $150,000 from one person. I feel weird about it.
I feel real good about that person.
Until you get that request email.
I'll send them back for it. Dirty ass bath.
As you can see, Gaines is now selling bathwater and feet picks. If you want them, you know where to find them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to let that be that for the end of this one. As usual, we appreciate you for coming by. We'd like to thank everybody who came through to support the Twitch streams, that support the Children's Miracles Network Hospital. Terry's now knighting you with the Keyblade.
I just wanted the Keyblade. That was
for your
all.
help.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. As usual, be blessed, be easy. Peace out there.